Welcome to Entrepreneurship at Rowan, an official production of the award-winning Rowan Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. We cover the entrepreneurial pulse of Rowan students, faculty, and alumni, prepared to be Rowan proud.
Welcome to Season 2 of Entrepreneurship at Rowan. I'm your host, Joe Sokolowski. I want to know more about the flourishing entrepreneurial ecosystem in and around Rowan today. I'll be joined by a collection of professionals in the entrepreneurial investment space to hear their experience in the field and help you become a better entrepreneur. Today I'll be joined by Bob Ciaruffoli, co-founder and vice chair of the Broad Street Angels. BSA is a network of entrepreneurial CEOs and C-suite investors making investments between $25,000 and $1 million in the Mid-Atlantic region. Thanks for being with us today, Bob.
Thanks for the invite, Joe. It's always a pleasure to talk about the entrepreneurial ecosystem.
Yeah, we're happy to have you on today. So I guess getting right into it, would you mind telling us a little bit about the history of BSA and why you and the other Union League members decided to found it?
I will. I'd be happy to. In order to do that, I really have to get into a little bit of the history of the Union League.
Okay.
So the Union League was founded in 1862 to support Abraham Lincoln in the Union Army in the fight against the Confederacy and to save the Union. And our motto is love of country leads. And the first line of our bylaws is that every member shall support the Constitution of the United States and this is very important, the free enterprise system. We were all members, there were 6 of us. We were all members of the Union League. And we had some casual conversations in early 2016 about, different type of investing, what we were all doing, how we were interacting with the entrepreneurial ecosystem. And the more we got to talking and thinking about our Union League membership, which was 4,500 people, we decided that there was a real opportunity to form an angel investor network through the Union League. And the reason for that is with 4,500 members, we had a tremendous amount of talent. Mm-hmm. It's very difficult to pick a subject matter where we don't have expertise inside the Union League.
With such a strong member group, you must have so much diversity there, like you're saying. So that's awesome.
Correct. And tied into that was we knew that there were a lot of people, not just in the Union League, but outside of the Union League, that were looking to get into alternative investments, but didn't know how. Mm-hmm. And there were also people that did know how, but didn't know where to find them.
Okay.
With that combination of factors, in the spring of 2016, we sat down and decided that we were going to put this together. And our aspiration was to get 30 members. And we spent the remainder of 2016 building out our infrastructure.
Okay.
Our website, our documents, processes, you name it. And we had our first meeting, membership meeting, in roughly, it would have been February of 2017. And by first membership meeting, I'm talking about a meeting where we brought in entrepreneurs to pitch and so forth.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So it was pretty quick then.
Yes. Well, an interesting thing. We didn't go public with this until December of 2016. We already had our website built. Now, keep in mind, we did not open it up to anybody.
Okay.
Entrepreneurs found us and started making submissions for funding in October, November of 2016.
Wow.
Which was phenomenal, which proves the point. When you're looking for money, you'll find the people who have it somehow, some way. You'll get to them.
And to think you already had a full lineup in early February. Yeah.
Right. So long story short, today we have 120 members. And it's a dynamic group of people, very complementary skill sets in so many ways. And think of the connections. So it works out well for us and works out well for the entrepreneurs we deal with.
Cool. That's awesome. So the primary audience of this podcast is mainly the Rowan entrepreneurship community. and many of them are looking to start or scale their own new ventures. Could you talk more about what kind of investments BSA looks to make?
Sure. The simple way to describe that is just about anything. There are some groups out there that are very specific. I think angel investing, generally speaking, most angel investors are not. I would say we generally don't get into bricks and mortar type businesses.
Okay.
We want something that has a technology component to it. Believe it or not, over the years, we've had a couple submissions that had no technology whatsoever, which really makes you scratch your head in this day and age.
For sure.
The companies themselves or the areas, we look at med tech, fintech, insurance tech, consumer areas, marketing type companies. I'd be hard pressed to say what we don't get involved in, other than cannabis and gambling, things of those vices. I guess I would say those type things.
Sure. So, like, when you guys are making these investments, is it typical that you guys go in on an investment individually, or do you guys ever go in and group your investments where you have a couple different members go in on one project?
To answer that, it might be helpful if I took you through our screening process quickly.
Yeah, sure. I know that was something I want to ask you, so go ahead.
In the screening process, each month, we meet 11 times a year, except for the month of August. So each month we get 15 to 20 on average submissions. We have 6 individuals on our screening committee, all with various skill sets and industry expertise. We review them all, and we end up selecting the 3 best. In order, once we select those 3, we bring them in for a pitch to our membership. They'll come in, they'll spend 10 minutes making their presentation. They'll 10 minutes of Q&A, and then we would ask them to step out of the room. We'll get back to them within 24 hours. We have a discussion amongst ourselves to see whether or not there's any interest in putting a due diligence team to dig into the company further. Once the due diligence team is put in process, they'll do their work. They'll come back to the group at large and say, we're going to make a membership or an investment in this XYZ company. If you're interested, here's the process to make an investment. And then each individual decides what they want to do and how they want to do it. We are not a fund, but we do everything as one. So it's group due diligence process, group presentation to the group as a whole, our Q&As, due diligence conversation. Everything's done as one.
Okay.
We make a decision to invest, and then it's up to each individual member to decide whether they want to invest or not.
Okay, so you're saying that collectively you're all saying, okay, this is a company we'd like to invest in, and then from there, anyone is allowed to put money into the investment pool. Right.
We respect the entrepreneur's time. We can't have 35 individuals each asking questions.
Yeah.
So it is a group due diligence process.
Okay. Would you be able to talk a little more about like your due diligence and what you guys are looking for in companies and maybe what stands out in a few?
Looking at the company, and I think that leads into what we would expect a prospective entrepreneur, what type of submission that they would make. We use the GUST system, GUST, which is probably the number one angel investment platform in the country.
Okay.
And so people will make submissions to us. They're asked to put various information, including a pitch deck, what have you. So the things that we're looking at is probably one of the most important things for the entrepreneur is something that's relatively simple. Follow the instructions.
Okay.
and specifically with respect to what an angel, and I'm talking about any angel group, is requesting. So often we see submissions where half of the information isn't there. They're discounted immediately because we don't have an opportunity to make a decision.
And I will say, off your comment there, I know just from looking on your website, I personally believe that you guys have one of the most clean, easy to read websites. So I think especially with you guys, it's so easy to follow the prompts, I guess, of what you guys are looking for when someone's coming in and when you're screening them.
Looking at it, it's one of the things is, okay, we want to make sure that it's a company that's going to be of interest to our membership. So if our membership turned down, and I'm just going to pick something out of the sky, a wearable.
Okay.
And we brought a whole bunch of them to our membership, and they are not interested. Any future submissions are going to have a really, really compelling case for us to even consider it. And we've had that happen. We've absolutely had it. We never say, no, we're not going to do this. So we're looking at the problem that the entrepreneur is trying to fix, how they're going to go about fixing it, who the team is. You know, generally a team of one is a tough sell. What happens if something, God forbid, something bad happens to the entrepreneur? You know, there's nothing left. You don't have anything as an investor. You know, I mentioned the technology component. You know, is the plan well thought out? Do they have a realistic idea of how much money they're going to need to take and build it out, whether it's the product or the service or the technology? You know, last but not least is if there are terms set already, you know, what are the terms? Mm-hmm. I mean, when you see something that has no revenue, not even a product, but a dream, and they're setting a valuation of $20 million, you know, it's highly unlikely that the individual knows what they're doing. I'll tell you a funny case. We had a company that we were very interested in once, probably about 2 years ago. And it looked like a real nice company and it had a great idea, a great pitch deck, but they had a $22 million valuation. Just for the heck of it, I picked up the phone and I called the entrepreneur. I said, look, we really like the company, but your valuation is way, way out of the, it's just out of the universe. And keep in mind, it was $22 million. He said, how about $11 million? Okay. It was still too high, incidentally, but you see different things. You got to be realistic. Yeah. It's not shoot for the moon and hope you get something out of it. Mm-hmm. You have to make a case and come across like you know what you're talking about, what you want to do, and you're serious.
Yeah, yeah. Kind of going off that, do you guys invest? Is there a specific point in time where you invest in a company? Like, do you invest pre-seed or do you help with seed investments, or is it all over the board?
Eventually, if a company's doing well, it's definitely all over the board. Mm-hmm. So we would start off with either pre-seed or seed, get involved in a Series A, and we would follow through with respect to follow-on investments. If the company's doing well.
Yeah, I think that's great that you guys do have such a diverse kind of range of what you invest in, because I know there's a lot of, especially venture capitalists, who aren't looking for those early seed investments. And I think that's really a unique aspect of you that you guys have. For the large part of your audience, I would tell you we've invested in more than a couple people who were still in college. Yeah, all the Rowan entrepreneur students.
Put something together.
It's good to know. Very good to know. Could you speak on maybe some of the successful exits you guys have had or have you been a part of? And if you could offer any insight into some other resources that you guys give to the entrepreneurs.
To date, we don't have any exits.
Okay.
Keep in mind, we're only 5 years old.
Very new. Very new.
On average, 7 to 10 years to start harvesting investments. However, having said that, we do have one where, as I understand it, the documents are signed, but it hasn't been formally announced yet.
Okay.
That will take place. It's and surprising. It was one of our first investments, if not the first. It could have been the second that we made, and it was in the cybersecurity space.
Okay.
And the company has done very well over the years, and has had multiple venture rounds, and are in the process of doing an exit right now.
That's awesome. So soon.
So we have a bunch of members that are pretty happy.
Yeah, I could imagine. It sounds like a very exciting step.
But I caution them. Don't get too happy until the check is in the account.
Yeah, until it's all said and done. I totally get that. But yeah, like I said, that's really awesome that you guys have that at such an early stage, and you're saying 7 to 10 years on average, and you guys are 5 years in and already seeing that kind of return. I think that kind of speaks to who you guys are too, because I think you guys really take into consideration like what you're investing in, and like you said, you have so much diverse talent that it really helps in that regard.
In that particular situation, the way we found out about it, because everything that's going on is usually extremely confidential until it's basically over with, a done deal. The entrepreneur called us to thank us for being Broad Street Angels, for being the first investment in his company.
Okay. Is there anything else that Broad Street does offer? I know you said you have such a diverse group, and I'm sure that definitely contributes to helping the entrepreneurs, but is there any other resources that BSA offers? We do.
So in our opinion, angel investing is not passive investing. Mm-hmm. It's active investing. Entrepreneurs know a lot. They don't know everything. Nobody knows everything.
Yeah.
And they need help. They want help. And the good ones really ask for help. So with that as a background, there's a lot of things that we do. We'll work with the entrepreneurs making introductions to prospective customers, introductions for an individual. They're looking for somebody with a certain skill set for a board member or an advisor. If not amongst our membership, or we'll go out and find somebody for the individual, make an introduction.
Oh, wow.
Talent acquisition. Know somebody who might be looking for a job, or where to look, or somebody that just got through an exit and is looking for something else, or worked for a company that's been through an exit. Introductions, which I already mentioned, but a great example is one company that we invested in. It's a local company. They're doing very well. They knew that there was an opportunity in a certain institution. They didn't know how to gain access to the institution.
Okay.
One of our members, I happen to know, was very engaged in this particular community and outside of Philly, and knows everybody and anybody in the area. So connected the two of them, and our angel investor was able to make a contact for the entrepreneur, and the entrepreneur was able to make a submission pitch and was able to land the institution as a client. So you have things like that. Investor putting out investor updates, part of coaching the entrepreneur and mentoring the entrepreneur. Yeah. What to put in them, what not to put in them. Some cases we'll proofread them before they go out and share our thoughts before they send them out. So it's a lot of little things. It's not one big thing. It's, what do you, Ms. Entrepreneur, need? What type of help do you need?
I was going to say, I don't know if it's the right word is catering, but you're definitely kind of looking at the unique situation and seeing what works for them best. Would you agree with that?
It is. It is. And part of it, it's time for the next raise. What's the pitch deck look like? Do you have everything that's needed in the pitch deck? Yeah. Do you have too much? Do you have too little? What's going to make the best presentation?
Wow. Yeah, I think that's awesome for an entrepreneur to have that kind of help, especially early on. So that's great that you guys do that. Looking ahead now, is there anything exciting at BSA that you guys have that you could speak about?
The first very exciting thing is we're now able to have in-person meetings.
There you go. That's something to talk about.
That's always exciting. We're fairly happy with what we've put together, the way we're organized and so forth. So when I look at the future exciting, it would be a combination of how much more can we contribute to the ecosystem? How can we contribute to the ecosystem? Because it's not just about the entrepreneurs, it's the Philadelphia region, and I include South Jersey, Delaware in that, has a tremendous ecosystem. But it doesn't run by itself. It takes a lot of people to help and support it. So, Our members sit on boards of things like Ben Franklin Technology Center. Mm-hmm. There's a global entrepreneurial group called TIE, T-I-E, with a local chapter.
Okay.
I'd actually encourage your members to look into that because, and I'm a member of TIE also, we have quarterly pitches where we invite 5 companies in, but we also open up those pitch events to entrepreneurs. Okay. So they can see how others are doing pitches and so forth.
Yeah, so before they go in, they could see what works and what doesn't, I guess.
Right. And we have judges there, and so the judges give feedback immediately.
Okay.
And then the TIE event also has once or twice a year, they'll bring in somebody who had a big exit and they'll talk about their story. So it's all educational and inspirational for first-time entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs second time around, third time around. Doesn't make any difference.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, Bob. I think you kind of gave a great overview of what BSA is and how Rowan entrepreneurs can get involved with your group. And I thank you again for all the insight you've offered today.
Appreciate it. I'm glad to help. And any other questions, don't be bashful about reaching out.
Okay.
We're here to help.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much, Bob. Take care.
Thank you for listening. Rowan is proud to be an official knowledge hub of the International Council for Small Business. Our AACSB award-winning entrepreneurship programs challenge students to solve real problems in bold and impactful ways. If you're interested in supporting entrepreneurship at Rowan or want to get more involved by hiring an intern, speaking to a class, or being featured as a case study, contact us at rcie@rowan.edu.